So good evening, ladies. Again, just grab a block or a book and have that available to you. As I was saying earlier, I was not feeling much in the way of moving. So we're all going to be working through this together tonight. Hopefully my dog will cooperate. She's laying in the cat bed currently. So tonight we're just going to kind of find some movement and some breath, and we'll see where it takes us. So I invite you to find whatever rest looks like for you. As always, you can find Shavasana, modified Shavasana. You can find seated, whatever feels good and wherever you feel like your body needs to be to start. So with that, we're going to welcome ourselves this evening with a nice big breath, filling up our belly, our ribs, and our chest. And exhale, sighing it all out, letting it go. One more nice, slow, big inhale, filling up your belly, your ribs, and all the spaces in your chest. And exhale it all out, letting it go. And maybe taking one more deep breath on your own to welcome all the aspects of yourself as you are in this moment. And then a long, slow exhale to dissolve into the mat beneath you and just releasing your day. Allowing the approach of breath to just be simple and easy. And maybe letting go of any preconceived ideas of what this should look like, and of the need to control the experience on your mat this evening. The voice in your side, your head may comment, may judge, may even complain a little. It may relive the past and perhaps speculate about the future. And just welcoming it all in. And perhaps acknowledging that our breath is our comfort and our guide. Maybe even letting go of our tendency to edit or censor what comes up. And just accepting what you find and saying yes to the experience. Letting go of what you think should be happening. And accepting what is actually happening right here, right now, in this moment. And just staying with your breath for a few more moments here. Letting it flow easy, in and out, in and out. And maybe starting to welcome yourself back with a nice breath. And before we start to move here, I want you to really notice all the parts of your body that you can feel rooted on the ground here. What feels heavy? And where do you feel space? And just observing that without judgment. And notice if maybe some of the spaces you feel are tension you can release and allow to be a little bit heavier. And when you're ready, finding some gentle movement here, you can wiggle your fingers and your toes. Perhaps rocking your head from side to side feels really good. We can start to expand our movements, rolling out our wrists and our ankles. And then in our next breath, finding that nice big reach stretch. We're reaching our feet nice and long in the midline, arms up overhead, really reaching through our fingers and our toes, creating some tension here as we inhale, reaching nice and long. And exhale, letting it go. One more time, a nice big reach stretch. Perhaps it feels good to interlace our fingers, reaching our palms up overhead, really reaching here. And exhaling, letting that go. And hugging in one knee and then the other towards our chest. Again, holding onto the backs of the thighs, or the tops of the shins, whatever feels good. Finding movement here or stillness. Listening to your bodies. Always remembering that I am just a guide. Beautiful. Coming back to center, letting our feet dangle, hands on our knees, and drawing those circles in the ceiling here in whichever direction you'd like to start with. Beautiful. And then changing the direction if that feels good. Beautiful. On the next breath, we're going to let our feet fall to the mat. We're going to walk our feet in as close as we can to the back of the buttocks, finding our bridge pose here. So feet are hips distance apart, heels and knees pointing straight ahead, all in alignment here, really rooting into the tops of our shoulders and all four corners of our feet. We're going to inhale, lifting our hips up to the sky and maintaining this pose for a few breaths here. Feeling our glutes engage in the front of our body, open up. Checking in that our hips and knees are still in alignment here. Holding for a few more breaths. Beautiful. On our next inhale, perhaps lifting just a little bit higher if that's available to us. And then as we exhale, slowly rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Beautiful. And flowing through our bridge flow here. So inhaling to lift and exhaling to lower. Really moving with intention with our breath this evening. Allowing your breath to be your guide for your movement. Tuning inward here. Beautiful. Two more. And last one. And then when you finish that, rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Beautiful. Letting our feet move further away from our body to the edges of the mat and just slowly windshield washing that from side to side. Again, allowing your breath to be your guide for how fast your movement is here. Maybe your movement is nice and slow or a little bit quicker. Either one is okay. Beautiful. The next time our knees fall to the right, we're just going to hold them there for a couple of breaths. Maybe feeling this on the right side, stretching out our hip flexor. Maybe you feel it all the way down your leg to your ankle. Inhaling back up to center and exhaling over to the left, letting them fall for a few breaths. Beautiful. Inhaling back to center. We're going to keep our knees bent, feet on the mat, reaching our right or our left arm over our head, rolling over onto our right or our left side body, finding this fetal position for a moment. And then on our next breath, pressing through our palm and making our way up into our tabletop position. Before we get moving tonight, we're going to stretch out our wrists just a little bit here. So finding our neutral spine, wrists underneath our shoulders, fingertips spread nice and wide, knees underneath our hips. And we're going to take our hands for a little bit of a walk. So we're going to bring our fingertips to the sides of the mat, all the way back towards our body, maybe turning them a little bit further in if that's available, and then walking them back around in that circle, just nice and slow. Moving them around here. Especially if we've been sitting at a computer all day. Beautiful. Next time our fingertips point all the way back towards our body, we're going to keep our elbows straight, but just a slight micro bend so we're not hyperextending here. And we're just going to sit our hips back just a little bit, feeling the stretch in the front of our arms all the way into our wrists here. Beautiful. We're going to inhale back to center and then exhale, sitting our hips back again. And we may not have a lot of movement, and that's okay. Beautiful. Inhaling back to center. We're going to walk our hands forward. And then we're going to put the tops of our hands towards the ground, fingertips facing each other. So palms are up towards us. Elbows are out to the side. And then we're going to exhale, bend our elbows, bringing our chest towards the mat and inhaling up. And just flowing through this a couple of times. Maybe noticing how this feels inside your wrists. One more time here. Beautiful. Lifting all the way up. We can bring our hands back to center. We can sit back. You can shake them out. You can figure eight them, whatever you need to do here. And then when you're ready, finding that tabletop again. Fingertips spread nice and wide. Really suction cupping into the tips of our fingers here, almost so we feel like the middle of our hand is reaching off the mat. Spine is nice and tall. We're going to inhale, and then as we exhale, tailbone lifts, belly lowers, heart shining forward into our cat. Exhale, really rounding into our cat pose. I said cat instead of cow. Inhaling forward into cow. Exhaling to cat. Once again, flowing through this. You might want to close your eyes, perhaps opening up this movement, swirling this around, whatever feels good for you. And the last time through here. Beautiful. And then meeting in a neutral spine. On our next exhale, we're going to reach our left foot back. Toes can remain on the mat if they need to. If not, we're going to lift that leg off the floor. Toes slightly flexed towards our face. And if it's available, we're going to reach our right arm forward, finding our spinal balance here, really pressing through our left palm. Holding this for a couple of breaths. Maybe we're even starting to shake, and that's okay. Beautiful. And then on our next exhale, lowering that down and finding that on the other side. Exhaling our right leg back, leaving those toes on the mat if we need to, or lifting that leg off the floor. Toes gently flexed and left arm extending if that's available. Spine is nice and tall. There should be no curving of the back here. Our glass of wine on our low back should just be nice and neutral. Beautiful. And then as we exhale, coming back to center, we're going to bring our knees to the edges of the mat, big toes touch, sitting back on our heels, walking our hands forward, melting our chest towards the mat, finding our child's pose,
Really letting our arms soften to the ground here. Breathing into our back body. Feeling our breath just expand our chest here.
Beautiful. On our next breath, looking forward, pressing into our palms, making our way into tabletop. We're going to tuck our toes, lift our hips up and back, finding downward facing dog. Again, fingertips spread nice and wide. Really rooting into the tips of our fingers, bending our knees as much as we need to here. Spine is nice and tall. Sits bones reaching high, broadening our chest. Again, we can pedal this out. We can find any movement we need here to soften in. Beautiful. And then finding a few breaths of stillness. And then on our next breath, we're going to bend our knees and we're going to walk our feet to the top of the mat, finding that forward fold. Letting our chest be heavy on the tops of our thighs, bending our knees as much as we need to here. Neck is nice and long. We can hold on to opposite elbows. We can rock side to side. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, hands on shins or thighs. Crown of the head really reaching forward here. Exhaling, bending our knees, forward fold. As we inhale, really rooting down through our feet, rising up to the sky. And exhaling, mountain pose. We can roll our shoulders back and down. Really rooting down towards our feet, reaching high through the crown of our head here. We're going to take some sun breaths. So we're going to inhale up to the sky, really going slow, moving with your breath, gathering it all in. And exhale, pulling it into heart center. Beautiful. One more time. Inhaling up nice and slow, really gathering all that energy in. And exhaling down to our heart. We're going to inhale our arms up to the sky, palms facing each other, almost like we're holding that giant beach ball between our palms here, really reaching high. We're going to inhale, creating a little bit of length, reaching through our fingertips. And then as we exhale, still holding onto that beach ball, we're going to tip slightly to the right, really stretching out the left side body here. Also working our ab muscles here in our core. Inhaling back up to center, still holding that beach ball. Inhale, creating a little bit of length here, and then exhale, tipping gently to the left. Beautiful. Inhaling back to center as we exhale, finding our cactus back bend here. So bending our elbows, squeezing our shoulder blades together, heart shining forward. Beautiful. Inhaling our arms all the way up to the sky. And then as we exhale, we're going to bend all the way down to the ground, gathering in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, reaching our left foot to the back of the mat. We're going to lower that left knee down. We can untuck our toes if that feels okay. Rising up to the sky here. We're going to bring our right hand to our right hip, really reaching through those left fingertips and reaching out over to the right. So bending to the right, making sure we're still square on the mat here, just really reaching through the left side body. You should feel this beautiful stretch all the way through. Exhaling back to center, rising that right arm to meet the left. We're going to fold forward, planting our left wrist underneath our left shoulder, twisting open to the right. Again, our hand can also be on our low back here. Beautiful. Circling this right arm around. Bringing the right knee to meet the left here. Finding a kneeling plank. Shoulders over our wrists. Exhale, lowering all the way down to the mat. Elbows into ribs.
Beautiful. You can wiggle this out, lowering all the way down to our bellies here. Palms beside our rib cage, squeezing our shoulder blades together, rooting into the pelvic bone and the tops of our feet. We're going to inhale, roll up into a baby cobra. Exhale, lower down. Beautiful. Doing that again. Inhale, squeezing our shoulder blades together, lifting up. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhaling up. Exhaling, lowering all the way down. We're going to tuck our toes. We're going to lift up to a plank or a kneeling plank, shoulders over our wrists, holding this for a few breaths. Beautiful. And then hinging our hips up and back, finding our downward facing dog. Beautiful. Left leg reaches high to the sky, really rounding that knee in towards our chest, bringing that foot between our hands, lowering that right knee to the ground. You can untuck the right toes, rising up. Low lunge on the side. Beautiful. Bringing our left hand to our left hip, really reaching through those right fingertips and bending to the left. Reaching out of our fingertips here, creating length in the right side body this time. Beautiful. Inhaling back to center. Left arm reaches the right. We're going to fold forward, right wrist under right shoulder, twisting open to the left. Once again, our left hand can also be on our low back. Beautiful. Circling this left arm around. Left knee meets right. Finding that kneeling plank. Shoulders over wrists. Exhaling, elbows all the way into ribs, lowering down to the mat. Rooting into that pelvic bone, the tops of our feet, squeezing our shoulder blades together here. Inhaling up, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Tucking our toes, lifting up into plank or kneeling plank, shoulders over wrists, holding for a breath or two. Exhaling, hinging our hips up and back, finding that downward facing dog or tabletop or child's pose. Beautiful. Bending our knees, walking our feet to the top of the mat, finding that forward fold. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down through our feet, rising up to the sky. And exhaling to mountain. Beautiful. Know that at any time you can stop and grab a sip of water. Beautiful. Finding our mountain pose here for a breath. We're going to inhale up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, left foot to the back of the mat, high on the ball mound of that left foot, rising up, high crescent lunge. You can also lower that knee if that's more available to you, or you can find warrior one. We're going to inhale, create length here, reaching through our fingertips. And as we exhale, we're going to twist open to the right. Beautiful. We're going to reach our right arm down towards that left leg. Left arm reaches up and over, really twisting open to the right here. Beautiful. Exhaling, opening back up. Circling that right arm around, finding that crescent lunge here. We're going to exhale, fold forward, planting our hands, right foot meets left, downward facing dog or child's pose or tabletop. Beautiful. Inhaling, floating forward like a wave to plank or kneeling plank. Lowering halfway down or all the way to the mat. Finding upward facing dog or cobra. Making our way back to our downward facing dog or child's pose. Beautiful. Inhaling our right leg to the sky, really rounding and bringing that knee towards our chest, foot in between our hands, rising up. Exhale, folding forward, planting our hands, bending that left knee, left foot meets right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up to the sky. And exhaling, mountain.
Inhaling up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, right foot to the back of the mat this time. Rising up or lowering that knee, or finding warrior one. Crescent lunge here. Beautiful. We're going to inhale, create some length, reaching through our fingertips and twisting open to the left. Left hand by our right side, right arm reaches up and over. Really lengthening that right side. Beautiful. Exhaling, twisting back open. Circling this left arm around, finding our crescent lunge. Exhale, folding forward, planting our hands, left foot meets right. Downward facing dog or child's pose. Inhaling, floating forward like a wave to plank or kneeling plank. Exhaling, lowering halfway or all the way to the mat. Upward facing dog or cobra. Back to downward facing dog or child's pose or tabletop. Inhaling our left leg to the sky, really rounding in, bringing that knee towards our chest, reaching that foot through, rising up. Beautiful. Exhale, folding forward, planting our hand, bending that right knee, right foot meets left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, really rooting down to rise up to the sky. And exhaling to mountain. Beautiful. We're going to inhale all the way up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, planting our hands, stepping back, downward facing dog or tabletop. Inhaling that right leg to the sky, rounding in, knee towards our chest, bringing that foot between our hands, dropping that left foot on a 45-degree angle here, rising up, warrior one. Beautiful, really lunging into that front knee. And noticing how you feel in this pose, not how it looks, but how it feels. Hands can be at heart center as well. Beautiful, bringing our hands down to heart center, pivoting that left foot, opening up, finding warrior two. Right palm reaches up a little, reach forward, exalting our warrior here, really reaching for those right fingertips. Beautiful, exhaling back to warrior two, finding our supported side angle here, reaching up and out. Letting all that energy flow out of us right now. Getting rid of all the stagnant energy. Beautiful. Exhaling back up. Warrior two. We're going to pivot that left foot, cartwheel our arms, framing the front foot. Right foot meets left. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Left leg reaching high to the sky. Really rounding and bringing that knee towards our chest, landing it between our hands. Right foot on a 45-degree angle, rising up. Warrior one. Again, hands can be at heart center on our hips. Beautiful, bringing our hands to heart center, opening up, heel toeing out that right leg. Warrior two. Left palm reaches up a little, reach forward, exalting our warrior here. Exhaling back, warrior two, finding our supported side angle here, reaching our fingertips up. Exhaling back, warrior two, pivoting that right foot, cartwheeling our arms, framing the front foot, bending that right knee, right foot meets left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up. And exhaling, mountain. Beautiful. We're going to grab our block and just place it at the top of our mat. Finding mountain pose here. Big toes can touch, heels can be a sliver apart, or your feet can be wider. whatever feels comfortable for you. Bringing our hands together here, really pressing our palms together. Inhaling, creating length as we exhale, lowering into our imaginary chair. Belly button into spine, core is nice and strong here. Toes in front of our knees. We're gonna inhale, create a little bit of length, and then as we exhale, perhaps dropping a little bit more, hooking that right elbow outside of that left knee, or we can bring our right hand outside of our left knee, left hand to our low back. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Checking in that our knees are in alignment here, so our knees are together, and one hip isn't pushing out more than the other. Holding this for a couple of breaths. Beautiful. We're going to exhale back to center and then folding over our legs. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up. Exhaling our hands down through heart center, lowering into that imaginary chair again. Pressing our palms together here. Inhaling, creating a little bit of length, and then as we exhale, twisting open to the right, this time left elbow hooked outside of the right knee, lowering those hips so they're lower than our chest if that's possible. Left hand can also go outside of our right leg, right hand on our low back. Beautiful. We're going to inhale back to center, exhale, folding over our legs here. We can heel toe out a little bit. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up. And exhaling to mountain. Beautiful. Bringing our hands to heart center. We're going to bring that left foot out, finding warrior two here. So we're heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. Whatever feels comfortable to us. Arms forward and back. Right knee over our right ankle. Beautiful. Right palm reaches up a little, reach forward, exalting our warrior here. Exhaling back, warrior two. We're going to bring our left hand to our left hip. We're going to heel toe in a little bit, keeping that right knee soft. And we're going to reach, we're going to reach forward for our block. Right wrist underneath our right shoulder. Opening up, stacking our hips here. Left hip over right. Left toes flex towards the face, and if it feels okay, lifting that left arm up, balancing half moon. Beautiful. One more breath. And then softening that right knee, planting that left foot, finding warrior two. Right palm reaches up a little, reach forward, exalting our warrior. Beautiful. Exhaling back to warrior two. Pivoting that left foot, circling that left arm around, crescent lunge. Exhale, folding forward, bending that left knee, left foot meets right. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up. And exhaling, mountain. Beautiful. We're going to find that flow on the other side. So bringing our hands to heart center. Reaching that right foot back this time, finding warrior two. Beautiful. Left palm reaches up a little, reach forward, exalting our warrior. Exhaling back to warrior two. Right hand on our right hip, heel toeing that right foot in. Softening that left leg. Woo! I am not balanced today. Reaching towards that block, left wrist underneath our left shoulder. Stacking our hips, right toe is flexed. Reaching that right arm up if it's available. Beautiful. We're going to soften that left knee, making our way a little bit more gracefully back to warrior two. Right palm reaches up a little, reach forward, exalting our warrior. Exhaling back, warrior two. Pivoting that right foot, circling this right arm around, crescent lunge. Exhale, folding forward, planting our hands, bending our right knee, right foot knees left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, rooting down, rising up to the sky. And exhaling to mountain. Beautiful. Finding mountain for a breath or two. Maybe you need a sip of water. Beautiful. We're going to find dancer's pose this evening. So starting in mountain pose here, really rooting into our right foot to start. We're going to reach, I'll face you just for a second. We're going to reach our left arm out to the side like we're holding onto a tray. And we're going to bend that left knee, bringing the left heel towards our bum. We're going to reach our left hand around for the inside of our left foot. Holding that in, knees are close together here. Now this can be your dancer, and that's fine. If you'd like to add on a little bit more, we're going to reach this right arm up to the sky. Again, this is dancer. Or we're going to tip forward, pressing our hand into heel, heel into hand. Hinging forward here, really reaching out long. Beautiful, and then we're going to rise up out of that and gently let that go. Again, you can shake that out. Beautiful. Trying that on the other side. So reaching this right arm to the side like we're holding that tray. Bending the right knee, flexing the right toes, reaching around for the inside of our right foot. Getting our knees together here in the midline. Again, this is dancer. You can reach our left arm up to the sky. You can stay here. Or if you want to just try, we're going to tip forward, pressing our hand into foot, foot into hand, reaching that left arm forward. Reaching nice and long here. Beautiful, and then coming back out of that when you're ready. Letting that go, you can shake that out. Beautiful, finding our mountain pose here. We're gonna inhale up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold, letting it all go. Maybe holding this forward fold here for a breath or two. Letting our neck be nice and heavy. We can shake our head yes and no. And then yes again, always remaining on the positive. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to plant our hands and we're going to step back into our tabletop. And we're going to lower our bellies all the way down to the mat. Lowering our forehead to the mat here. We're going to reach our arms beside us. Palms facing in to start. We're going to really anchor down into our pelvic bone here. We're going to take a nice big inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to lift our shoulders, our chest, our head, and our legs off the mat. Finding our locust pose, reaching our fingertips to the back of the mat, palms facing in. Again, you can lower your legs in this position if that feels better for you, or you can find a nice cobra. Beautiful, one more breath here. And then as we exhale, lowering all the way down to the mat. We're gonna bring our hands beside our rib cage and we're gonna press up and back, finding a more narrow-legged child's pose. Countering those back bends we just did. Beautiful. We're going to look forward at our hands, pressing into our palms, making our way up into our tabletop. We're going to reach our left foot to the back of the mat, keeping those toes tucked, and we're just going to rock back and forth. Stretching out our calf muscle, our ankles, maybe even our toes here. Beautiful. And then we're going to lift that left leg off the mat. We're going to round it in towards our spine, bringing that left foot between our hands. Finding a low lunge here. Rising up if that feels okay. We're gonna bring our hands to heart center, inhaling to create a little bit of length. And then as we exhale, we're gonna twist open to the left, hooking that right elbow outside that left knee, knowing that we can come back into this position as well that we didn't share if that's more available to you. Honoring where your body is today. Beautiful. As we exhale, we're gonna lift up, still twisting. Bringing ourselves back to center. Folding forward, left knee meets right. Finding tabletop. You can find a little bit of movement here if you like. Maybe rocking our hips from side to side. Beautiful. On our next breath, reaching the right toes back, this time to the back of the mat, rocking back and forth. Beautiful, lifting that right leg off the mat and then rounding it in towards our chest, bringing that foot between our hands. Right knee over our ankle. Rising up. Beautiful, bringing our hands to heart center again, inhaling, creating a little bit of length, and then as we exhale, twisting open to the right, hooking that left elbow outside of our right knee. We're gonna inhale to lift, still twisting open to the right. Beautiful, exhaling back to center, folding forward, bringing that right knee to meet the left. Again, we can find a little bit of movement here. Beautiful, and then we're gonna make our way into our seated, reaching our legs out long here. We're gonna take a couple extra moments here really to stretch out tonight. So letting our legs nice and long, fleshy bits away. Inhaling up to the sky. Exhale, hinging at our hips, reaching long as we fold forward here, rounding in, forehead to knee. Again, you can bend your knees a little bit here if that feels better for you. You can also flex your toes, reaching your hands over if you really want to feel this in your calves and hamstrings. Whichever version of this pose feels good for you today. Beautiful. On our next breath, we're going to rise up out of this. We're going to bring our hands just gently behind us. We're going to bend our knees and we're going to stretch out our hips in a bit of a different variation tonight. So we're going to lean back on our hands. Doesn't matter which way our fingers are pointed. And we're going to cross our left ankle below our right knee. So almost like we're in that figure four stretch, just a little bit differently here. We're going to flex those left toes towards the knee. And if this feels like enough of a stretch for you, you can stay here. If you'd like to move into cradle to baby, we're going to keep our spine nice and long. We're going to reach this right toe or right foot out just a little bit here as we start. We're going to wrap our left elbow by the right knee or left knee, and then the right elbow by the left foot. So if you can see me, we're like this. Beautiful. Spine is nice and tall though, making sure we're not rounding in. So finding whichever variation you would like. If you're in cradle to baby, we're going to reach that right leg out long, and we can rock side to side if that feels okay. But knowing if you're in the first part of this, that's okay too. Beautiful. If that right leg is out long, we're going to bend that right knee, placing that right foot on the mat. We're going to release that left foot to the right knee, arms behind us. We're going to uncross our legs, and we're going to windshield washer that from side to side. Again, moving with our breath here. Beautiful. And then finding that on the other side. So again, hands behind us. Crossing that, the other side, crossing the right ankle below our left knee, flexing the right toes just gently towards our face, and knowing that we can stay here. If we'd like to add on to full rock the baby, we're gonna just pull our left foot out a little bit longer here. Spine is nice and tall, wrapping our right elbow around our right knee, left elbow around our right foot, and we can release that left leg out long, Spine nice and tall. And again, if it feels okay, we can rock our baby here. Beautiful. That left leg is out long, bending that left knee, placing the left foot on the mat, releasing our right leg to our left knee, arms behind us, uncrossing that, and once again, finding that windshield washer here from side to side. Beautiful. We're gonna find the long edge of our mat here. So we're gonna reach our right leg out to the side like a half split. Left knee is bent, left foot in towards our right side here. We're gonna reach our right hand along our right leg. And even if it can reach that foot that's available, that's great. If not, just on our shin here. Reaching our left arm up to the sky and then rounding in towards the right. Really stretching out the left side body here. If you can reach your toes, that's available. I invite you to do so. Right toes just gently flexed here. Beautiful. We're going to rise up out of that. And we're going to switch to the other side. So bending our right knee, right foot towards our left thigh, left leg out long, left toes gently flexed. Reaching this left hand along that left leg to wherever it lands. Right arm reaching up and then reaching over to wherever is available. Beautiful. We're going to rise up out of that. We're going to close our legs together. We're going to make our way to the middle of the mat. We're going to bring our block or our book with us. And we're slowly going to roll down, hugging in one knee and then the other, finding ourself in our supine position here, hugging our knees towards our chest. Again, we can move a little bit of rocking side to side. Beautiful. We're going to release our feet to the mat, knees are bent, arms in cactus or T. And on our next exhale, we're going to drop our knees over to the right as we look straight ahead or out over our left shoulder, whatever is available. Really releasing to the mat here, letting go. Maybe noticing where we feel our breath. Maybe our breath feels a little bit more steady and relaxed now than it did at the beginning. Beautiful. We're going to inhale our knees back to center. And then as we exhale, dropping them out over to the left, looking straight ahead or out to the right. Allowing ourselves to soften into the pose. Beautiful. We're going to inhale our legs back to center. We're going to grab our block or our book, keeping our feet on the mat, knees bent. We're going to lift our hips just gently off the mat,
Placing our block or our book on its lowest setting and finding that sacrum bone and triangular bone at the base of our spine and placing the block or book or whatever we have underneath that bone. We're going to lower our hips down, really rooting in here and remembering we can stay here in supported bridge. If we'd like to find supported legs up the wall, we're going to lift one knee and then the other, reaching our feet towards the sky, making sure our ankles are over our hips or more, allowing everything to soften and open up here. Really starting to feel heavy on our mat. Maybe even closing our eyes or softening our gaze here. And remembering that we can stay here if we'd like. If we're ready to move, we're going to gently bend one knee and then the other, releasing our feet to the mat. We're going to lift our hips just gently, removing that prop, lowering our hips down to the mat, and then reaching our legs to either corners of the mat, arms on either side of our body. Final resting pose, Shavasana. I invite you to take a nice big cleansing breath, filling up all the spaces in your body. And then exhale, letting everything go. Releasing to your mat here. Perhaps noticing once again what parts of your body you feel heavy on the mat and supported, and where you feel space. Perhaps noticing if there's less space now than there was at the beginning. And I invite you to just spend a few moments here with your breath, allowing me to hold this virtual space for you until it's time to bring you back. And if you feel ready, maybe welcoming yourself back with a breath. Always remembering that you can stay here as long as you need to. You don't have to move. If it feels right for you, starting to find some gentle movement. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes.
expanding those movements when you feel ready. Rolling out your wrists and your ankles. Maybe rocking your head from side to side. And then finding any other movement you need to bring yourself back. And when you feel ready, bending your knees, placing your feet on the mat, reaching your right or your left arm over your head and rolling over onto your right or your left side body. Taking a last breath here. And in your own time, pressing through your palm and making your way up into seated lotus pose, whatever that is for you. And taking one last goodbye breath here together, we're going to inhale our arms nice and slow up to the sky, really gathering in all that beautiful energy. And exhaling it down through heart center. Thank you so much for joining me once again. You truly don't know how much it means to me to guide you each week. The love and the light in me truly sees and honors the love and the light in each of you. Namaste.
Thank you again,
Thanks,
Laura.
everyone.
Thank you.
It was awesome, Laura.
Yes.
Thank you.
Laura, I got a quick question.
Yeah.